Here's an example of a stained glass project you can do yourself. I decided to take an old Mac Classic, kind of like this one right here, circa 1990, and turn it into a backlit stained glass object. First thing I had to do was take it apart, remove all of the contents, and do be careful when you do this because there are some components in there that at least have to be disposed of properly, and if it has been used recently, there may be some components that actually have charges left in them and you could seriously hurt yourself. So think about that before you open it up. Next thing I did was I determined that it was, to do this properly, I would need an 8 3/4 inch wide and by 6.5 inch tall project. So that is actually the size of the Photoshop project window I have open now. And then the next thing I did was I went in and I did a screenshot on my existing Mac of two open windows, and you can see them here. And then what I did was I pulled a couple of guides. Actually, I pulled quite a few guides, and you'll see what I did was I pulled them up to the edges of each of the windows here and here and here and here. And what I did was I wanted to make sure it looked like it had a header on the top, but the one that really is in the new Mac Windows is just a little bit too thin, so I pulled it down to right here. And then you'll see what I did next was I actually added the lines by pulling them across using the line tool in Photoshop. And now you'll notice that there's actually lines going through a lot of different places I don't want them to go through. There are places, for instance, I want to put a crack in here to make it look more interesting and add some stability. And of course, this particular area here for the header, I don't want it to be in the window that's laying on top of it. So the next thing I did was I cleaned it up a bit. You'll see I removed the lines here and a few other places so that I would be able to duplicate the actual windows without making it look, well, sloppy. Cleaned it up. And then I took the line tool, I took a pencil tool, and I added cracks like that. So it kind of gave the impression that this was an old piece of glass, and this just added a little bit of something different to the project. And then after that, the next step was numbering everything. So I threw some numbers in there, and then what you'll see next is, if I remove the background, you'll see there's the finished pattern, and I'll actually have a copy of this pattern on the website for you to pick up if you want to do this project yourself. So what we have here are 35 different pieces that, when assembled properly, will give you what I'm about to show you next. Well, first, this is actually the installation process where I mounted the stained glass to the inside of the Mac, and you'll see the next thing is I added a light right there so that it could be backlit, and you'll be able to see where I actually screwed down with rubber grommets to hold the glass in. And the final project is this, a lit from behind Macintosh from 1990, modernized, and it was quite easy to do, and you could do it yourself.